Good morning, students. Today I am going to discuss one new chapter. Please give the heading in your copy, Idea of Algorithm Efficiency. Please give the heading, Idea of Algorithm Efficiency. Okay, this is the new chapter I am going to discuss. Since we have been going through a lot of algorithms in the previous chapters, now I am going to discuss the performance factor of algorithms. So which algorithm is how much efficient, that we would learn in this chapter. Okay, students, what do you mean by efficient programming? Efficient programming means you are solving a problem with less number of programming lines. Line of programs gets reduced. Moreover, efficient programming means the time factor, that is the time it is taking to execute a program must be optimized or must be less. There are other performance factor also, such as the size or the number of lines of the code. Okay, and so a algorithm that is taking low resource will be said to be an efficient program. Okay, so there are various performance records that we would like to share. Please note down in your copy, performance. Performance can be defined as inversely proportional to the wall clock time or elapsed time. Performance is inversely proportional to the clock time. Now see, an algorithm that is taking much greater time will be less efficient, that's all. And an algorithm that is taking small time or small elapsed time will be a efficient programming. Now here some terminologies are there, please note down. Elapsed time, time to complete a task, Now see how to measure this elapsed time. See, our operating system has its clock inbuilt into it. So the operating system overhead or operating system clock will measure this elapsed time. Now we have CPU time. CPU time does not include the time slices introduced by external resources. For example, whenever I am writing a program, it becomes processed once it enters into the CPU. But before that, it has to be submitted to operating system. Operating system in turns submitted it to memory or stored it in memory. So these time will not be computed against CPU time. CPU time is only that time till which time it is there in the CPU, inside the CPU, that is, it is processing. The processing time is also called as the CPU time. Otherwise, when the program is there in the memory or the program is there in the operating system, it is not these times will not be included in the CPU time. So please note down, the CPU time is the actual run time or actual execution time of the program. Okay, now here the term performance is defined. As I have told you earlier also, performance time is inversely proportional to the execution time. So write down, performance equals to the formula 1 divided by execution time. performance equals to 1 divided by execution time. This is the formula. Okay. So we can say that performance of X program divided by performance of Y program is equal to execution time of Y program divided by execution time of X program, and that may be computed equals to n. Now, performance of an algorithm depends on many internal and external factors. Note down the internal factors. Internal factors are time required to run and memory required to run. So, time and memory. And the external factors are size of input, speed of your computer, etc. External factors are controllable, but internal factors are not. External factors are controllable. Now, to determine the efficiency of algorithm is called the computational complexity. So, in this chapter, we would like to measure the computational complexity of an algorithm. Please note down the term computational complexity. Computational complexity. Note down. We will determine efficiency of algorithm in terms of computational complexity. Computation involves the problems to be solved and the algorithm to solve them, and complexity involves study of factors, the internal and external factor, to determine how much resource, time or memory is necessary to run it efficiently. Now, there is a term called Big O notation, which is actually the measurement of computational complexity of our code or of any algorithm. Please note down Big O notation. Please note down Big O notation is used to measure the time and space complexity of any algorithm. Big O notation is used to measure the time and space complexity of any algorithm. Okay, so this is called the Big O notation. In computing computational complexity, this Big O notation is the basic notation used to determine the efficiency. Okay, now let us understand the performance measurement in terms of number of operation. Here is an example code we are taking. See here, r equals to 0, and there are two loops over here, for I in range 4 and for n in range 4, and I am computing r equals to r plus I multiplied by n, and after all these for loops and iteration, we are printing r. So for each r, there is one multiplication, one addition and one assignment, resulting in 3 operation. So this loop is executed 4 into 4 times, 16 times. So there are 16 R operations. This is the order of the code. In this example, the computational complexity is order of 4 square R. The order of this algorithm is, or the computational complexity of this code is, order of 4 square R. Order of 4 square R. Again, I am repeating how we have computed this. See here, there is one addition, one multiplication, and one assignment. Please see this programming statement. Here we'll see there is one addition, one multiplication, and one assignment. So 3 operations are there. So for each and every r there are 3 operations. Okay, and how many times this loop is executing? If you see, for I in range 4, so 4 times this, and for each of the I, n will run 4 times. So 4 into 4, 16 times this will be assigned. So 16 times 3 operations are going on. So what we will say that the order of complexity is 16r or 4 square r. So in this way we compute the computational complexity. This is just one example. Okay, we'll see different performance measurement in terms of the number of operations. Okay, for example, if it is a loop, if it is a single loop, not a nested loop, if it is a simple loop, please note down in your copy performance measurement in terms of the number of operations. If it is a single loop, see here an example is written. An example is written for I in range n, and inside this loop we are writing m equals to m plus 2. Now see here in this example, the steps in loop take constant time c. Suppose I am assuming a constant time is taken, that is c, and loop is executed how many times? N number of times. So total time required is c into n, that is cn. That means c is a constant and n is variable, so it is the order of n. In this way, very simply we can compute our computational complexity of this particular code. So we see that how to compute computational complexity in case of loop. Now come to nested loop. In case of nested loop, what happened? See here, for I in range n and for j in range n again, we are assigning m equals to m plus 2. So here you will see that we have taken an example of nested loop, and again if we consider only this statement inside the loop, it is taking a constant time c, suppose, and outer loop executed inner loop executed n times and outer loop executed n times. So total time required is cn multiplied by n, that is cn square. That means c is a constant here, so it is the computational complexity of nested loop will be order of n square. So in this way we can compute the complexity of loops, whether it is single or it is nested. Similarly, come to consecutive statements. In case of consecutive statements, the third case, please note down consecutive statements. We have several I have taken one example, x equals to x plus 1. So this is taking, say, suppose constant time a, and a single loop is there, so constant time cn, and one nested loop is there, suppose it is bn. Okay, here a, b, c are constant, so total time required is a plus cn plus bn2. Is it bn2? It is bn square, sorry, this is bn square, so a plus cn plus bn square. So actually this is order of n square. considering only the dominant term, that is the greater term, which is n squared. So the order of complexity will be O, big O notation, n square. Here the notation is not correctly given. I am writing here, please see, it should be order of n square. Okay, considering the dominant term, that is the greatest index term. Okay, so this is the way we can compute consecutive statements. Come to fourth case, that is the if then else statement. थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो रहा है. Okay, if then else statement we will discuss in the next day, in my next lecture. Till then, you will please note down the notes in your copy. Computational complexity is a very important concept of algorithms, and it may be asked in the examination always. Okay, so please try to note down the relevant part and try to go through it. Thank you very much for today. Stay safe, stay at home. Thank you.